right, hello, and welcome back to Throw a Bash with Sean and Kenny. I'm Kenny.
And I'm Sean. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for joining us today. Super excited. We actually have our first guest in studio.
Whoop, whoop. Super cool.
Who do we got with us today, Kenny?
We have with us the one and only Christina Salmon from Clink & Co. Designs. They are an amazing wedding and event planning company. And I'll let Christina tell you about that in just a moment. Sean, before we say hello to Christina and get into talking with her, do you have any stories that you want to share with us?
Oh, my God. This weekend was
from
crazy.
Your weekend. You had a huge weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weddings, right?
Yes.
Busy.
Oh, my God. A ton of fun. Had a ton of fun this weekend. I was at Walden Woods last night in Heartland. Super fun wedding.
You do so many Sunday night weddings, dude.
Dude, it can be, obviously, it takes a lot to still bring the same energy for a Sunday wedding as it does for the Friday wedding and for the Saturday wedding, right? Because you definitely don't want your guests to feel like, they're getting the leftovers.
Sunday night. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sunday's wedding, it had a lot of potential things that could have made for maybe a bad wedding, but with a good DJ company, it was a bash. They danced all night long. Happen. I obviously am not going to let that happen. But a bad DJ might have let it go flat because they didn't have a large guest count.
Those can be tough.
They can be tough. So you don't, a 200-person wedding, it's easy to get 50 people on the dance floor.
Sure.
But when you have 80 people, you hopefully can get 20 to 40 people on the dance floor. Well, at several points, we had all 80 on the dance floor.
That's awesome.
It was totally a ton of fun.
That's awesome. Way to throw a bash, bro.
Super cute couple that wanted to dance all night long. Shout out to David and Kayla. Congratulations, you guys. But yeah, what about you? Did you have any events this weekend?
No, I have had.
Oh, you were on vacation.
I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks of August. I am reclaiming the end of summer for myself.
That's awesome.
And then I've got the gauntlet for, after Labor Day weekend. I've got the gauntlet of 8 weeks straight of back-to-backs. This is going to be brutal.
Fall weddings are
brutal.
Huge.
It's going to be brutal.
That's
going to be
exciting.
Awesome. It's very exciting, but it's going to be tough stuff.
Right. A lot of planning. You got to prepare, but you should be fresh and ready to go with all.
Absolutely.
Where'd you go real quick?
So we went camping. We went up to Sheboygan.
Oh, very cool. I need to go camping. It's been way too long.
It's fun. We glamp, though. We don't camp. There's a camp. I'm not in a tent.
It's very trendy.
I'm not. It is. Speaking of trendy. Yeah, I'm not in a tent. But yeah, speaking of trendy, let's talk about some trends. That's what we're here to talk about today. Trends,
that's right.
Especially in the area of design, style, decor.
That's right. Seeing a ton of unique things at weddings now. People want to enhance their weddings. They want these visual impact moments. They want that
Instagram moment.
They want the photo for Instagram, right? They want that awesome moment that they can post on their social media timeline.
Just doing it for the gram, baby.
Just doing it for the gram. And it's kind of like what you were saying too, with all the pent up energy from, let's say, at the pandemic,
from the Rona, right?
People want to party.
Right. Events were small. They were limited. Everybody was restricted.
Now they want to throw down, and that's where they get a hold of Christina from Clink & Co. Designs to help them advance their event.
That's right.
Take it to the next level.
So Christina, welcome to
Hi guys. Thanks
the podcast. Thanks for coming to see us and help us throw a bash here. We have worked a lot together at a number of different types of events, weddings, birthday parties, all sorts of cool events. I got to DJ Christina's engagement party. She's getting married in less than a month, by the way. Congratulations.
25 days.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh,
that's
awesome. Sneaking up quick, yeah.
Speaking of trends, you're doing a destination wedding. But first, before we do that, before we get into that trend, tell us a little bit about Clink & Co. Designs. Please, tell us who you are and what you do.
So we are a planning, coordinating, design and decor company out of Brighton, Michigan. We started on the design and decor aspect. That's my passion. So I love to help brides and pretty much are a client for any event. We don't just do weddings, but I love to help them design an event that's unique and fit for them and kind of bring some fun and interesting things that people don't always feel like they can do or they know they want to do, but they don't know how to do. So I love when they bring me some fun ideas. So we started with design and decor. And then people told us we were really good at actually putting it all together, coordinating and planning it. So we kind of have the whole kit and caboodle. I've got an awesome team, and you can do you can hire us for one little thing if you just want planning or just want coordination, or oftentimes when a client hires us for one thing, they end up using us for all three. So it's been an awesome little adventure.
I can see why. Having worked with you many times, you run a great event. It always looks beautiful. It's always well done. I always know that I am not going to have to worry about anything.
It's usually me running around
the timeline's going to be handled. Like, I know that it's going to be awesome.
When you have an awesome event coordinator, it just makes the night flow.
Oh yeah,
so
she
much
calls
smoother.
me for an event. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in. Whatever you've got,
Yes.
I want to find a way to be a part of that one.
Yes,
for sure.
And not all event coordinators are created equal.
No,
right? Some
absolutely
can
not.
actually
That's not
hinder
true.
a great party. They can be, a great event coordinator works with all the vendors. They don't, they're not the end all be all. Whereas Christina knows that. She knows that she works with the DJ. She works with the photographer to make sure everything flows smoothly, because it's always frustrating when you have an event coordinator that is very staunch on their ideas.
You
and the
better
timeline.
do it this
That's
way.
funny.
or
I
else.
actually, when I first started, had a couple clients and vendors that I worked with. They were a little leery of me at first.
Yeah.
And then they were like, wow, you are so nice to work with. And I was like, what do you
Right.
mean? They're like, well, kind of in this industry, coordinators can get a bad rap. They try and
Yeah.
tell you how to do your DJ. Like, nope, we'll help you with the time and where
Right.
you got to be and what you got to do. But
DJs get a bad rap sometimes too.
And I guess on that, it's probably sometimes, the DJs can obviously hinder that too. Not all DJs are created
Well,
equal.
but I totally get what you're saying in that there is a stigma sometimes almost
there's
about
not a very good stigma sometimes.
an event planner, an event coordinator being very type A and being very bossy, if you will,
Yes.
and all that stupid stuff. And that is absolutely 100% not true with you by any means. I've never had that kind of feeling.
super laid back. It never feels like forced or.
And I can't tell you how many times too I've heard Christina say, "Oh, I trust you. Just do your
That
thing.
too.
I trust you. Go. You do what you're doing."
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
we're hiring you for
Cool.
something that we're confident with you, and we want you there for a reason. We're going to let you run with it. If we got to make an adjustment, we make an adjustment.
It's
But we
nice
do it
to-
together.
Yeah, it's nice to have that vote
Yeah.
of confidence. when
One
you're working
team,
with
one
somebody.
dream,
That's right.
right?
One team.
I
one dream.
like that. That's a good one.
So what we see a lot of different things. Obviously, when we're out in the field and working and working at various venues, and we see a lot of different trends in decor and in style and so on. But you have to
immersed
bring
in
that.
it.
You have to create that for people.
Yeah.
Like, you're the reason that we're seeing some of that because you put it together. So what are some of the things that you're seeing that are becoming so hot right now?
So hot, so
What's
trendy.
so hot right now? What are some of the things that you were seeing in terms of decor and style and?
So we were kind of talking even before the show. The marquee letters are really in right now.
Yeah,
I know
so
I
cool.
had them for my engagement party.
Yeah.
I had them for my bridal shower.
Can you describe what is a marquee letter?
So it's usually a 2 or 3 foot letter with light up marquee lights, and
Nice.
you can usually have them change colors. Sometimes I've seen them programmed to the DJ lights. Sometimes they're used as a backdrop. It's just kind of a big focal point for like a wow factor when you either
Yeah.
walk into your event or for a photo area.
Right,
cool
a
looking.
photo opportunity once again.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
And then you see the
absolutely.
guests all night long, kind of pairing up in front of it and getting that cell phone photo in front of it.
Totally.
You could amp it up and get a photo booth to help get those photos as well. Could be a lot of fun. We've seen that where we'll set up our photo booth and they have the marquee letters
Yeah.
perfectly placed to kind of be in the background.
It's
Right, and that
almost
can be the backdrop
it's almost
almost,
like a new photo booth, right? You still need the photo
Yeah.
booth, but
Yeah.
like those booths where you used to walk in and they were enclosed, those are kind of on the way out. You're seeing the
Right,
mirrors,
yep.
which I know you guys have. You're seeing the different marquee letters, the
Yes.
backdrops. People are kind of branching out on what a photo booth was, and they're
Absolutely.
making it really trendy and fun.
And I love that. It's creating those wow factors. And one thing I keep seeing a lot of is the different backdrops. Once again, not just for a photo booth, but maybe they want a backdrop behind their sweetheart table.
The flower walls.
The flower walls. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about, or you'll see flower walls.
So
You'll see neon signs. They're so hot right now.
Neon
Also.
neon signs
I
are
was actually
super
just
hot.
gifted
Yeah.
one, and I'm excited
Oh,
to
is that
use
right?
it for my
Oh,
wedding.
for your
Yeah,
wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. So there
I
we go.
wasn't going to pull the trigger on my
How
own,
do-
and someone gifted it to me. I
Yeah,
was like,
How do people
wow.
do that? they come to you and they tell you, hey, we want it to say our last name.
Yeah.
How does that happen, I guess?
So usually for something like that, if it's custom, I would have the client, I can help them source it, but I would have the client go out and purchase it. And then there's generic ones that say like happily ever after
Or Better
or
Together.
you know, Mr. and Mrs. Better Together. And those would be ones that you would have in a rental that you could rent with a typical backdrop.
Right. And then what about as far as some of those, you'll see like a hedge wall, whether it's fake or faux or whatever, it still looks real. You know, a big 8 by 10 foot. It looks like a wall of greenery, or maybe roses or white roses. I guess what have you been seeing a lot of that as well?
Yeah,
Do you
they're
find
very
that
trendy. They're fun.
super fun?
They make
right?
for a cute photo. It's, like you said, it's just something
all
new,
about that
right?
photo.
So
Yeah.
instead of, you know, the sheeted, like the cloth backdrops.
Right, the shimmery curtain backdrop.
Yeah, it's just something different.
Something different. Yeah.
What about, I don't know, have you guys done the 360 photo booths with the different backdrops? I have yet to experience one. I have a couple weddings coming up where...
Well, you're going to experience one here very, very
Woohoo!
soon.
We do have the 360
Sean has
photo
not,
booth.
he hasn't unveiled
Did
it
I
yet.
burst the bubble?
No,
Sorry,
you've
guys.
not burst the bubble. I do have it. We haven't booked it for an event yet. A big thing we like to do at Bash
You want to
Entertainment.
come to Florida?
Let's do it. That's right. We got 25 days to plan this.
Rave experience.
So we definitely like to fully vet out new equipment and make sure that we run it in the shop and make sure that we
gotta
have
be
all the
perfect.
bugs worked out. It's perfect. But you're right, the 360 photo booths. And if you're not familiar with a 360 photo booth, it's essentially a platform you stand on and a camera circles around you. You've probably seen it online. You've seen it in your timeline.
Like they have them at the Oscars and the Grammys and all
Yes.
the red carpet events.
Very
You see
high
them.
end. And it is more expensive than your traditional photo booth because it requires more attendance to set it up. It requires more space.
Some space. Yeah.
Some space. You know, it just takes that extra bit of effort to make it, you know, super fun still. But we are super excited about them. We do have the 360 photo booths as well. And like you said, it's something totally different, right?
So I have a
How's
question
that
about
Christina
those.
segueing
Yeah,
into
I
a
like it.
product,
Good job,
a
yeah.
product placement for us? Like, way to go! Like, we didn't even set that up. That's
No.
beautiful.
So, no, but
Well
really,
done.
so the only time I've seen one before is they had like a backdrop, like an 8 by 10
Yeah.
set up, but then the rest of like where it was out in a hallway and the reception was in the inside.
Yes.
So it was set up, but the background wasn't totally ideal. So where
It's
would you,
tough.
where do you put that? Do you
That's
put
where
it
it gets
like
tough.
next to your dance floor? So like the background is everyone having fun,
You
or
could do that.
what's the
and
hype
that's
with
where the
that?
360 booth is tough. We have a couple options. So we have an inflatable enclosure with doors on different sides. So then you are, you know, surrounded by a consistent backdrop. It lights up different colors
Okay.
and things. But we could also, that's where it takes that extra effort, right? You need to potentially vet out the venue beforehand.
Yeah, you
Right.
can't just stick it anywhere.
No.
Yeah, and a lot of times guests, you know, even though you told them, hey, we're going to need like 12 by 12 foot area, you show up and they're like, here's your 3 by 3 foot area in the corner.
You're like-
your 3 foot square, bro.
Yeah, and you're like,
Good
I don't
luck.
know. Yeah, we did a wedding this past weekend. It was a similar thing with the photo booth. You know, and obviously at the end of the day, we're going to pivot and figure out how to make this
Yeah.
work. There was a better space in the lower level area that we put the selfie mirror. But yeah, sometimes guests, there's so many details.
Right.
And it's not that they tried to set you up for a bad situation. They don't know
They've
any
never
better.
done it
Right.
before.
You don't know what
They
you
don't know
Yeah.
any better. Yeah.
That's my
so-
favorite line.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. So, but no, they're a ton of fun. Super hot right now, and that's
So
why
hot
that's
right
why I had to get one right away. So that way, hey, if you want a 360 photo booth, we can definitely do that for you as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
Cool.
totally.
Can't
cool.
wait to see it.
One cool way to really amp up the 360 photo booth with a cool backdrop could be with a balloon backdrop.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to bring up the balloons.
balloons.
because that's my favorite. I love the balloon arches and all the balloon stuff.
I'm always like, how do they do that?
It's a talent. It's an art.
Your girl Leticia, shout out
Yeah.
to Leticia. She's amazing. You can give her company a plug.
Yeah.
I don't know the name. I don't want to say it wrong.
Agape Decor and Events.
Agape.
Agape, that's right.
Yep.
Leticia is so cool. She's awesome to work with, and she has such a great creative brain. Like
she's incredible.
She designs such cool balloon arches and balloon
it's
work.
original
It's so amazing
artwork every time.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And it's a true talent. Like, she's trying to teach me, and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. I'm like, I can't do that.
And
Sorry.
they're there before the DJ even.
And they're big. It's usually a very large design.
Yeah.
It takes, like, she has to kind of put it together in pieces, and it's
a lot of
really
walking
cool
back
to watch her do it.
and looking at it from far and then being like, okay, I'm going to do this, do that. It's like a totally piece of artwork designed live.
Right. When I'm looking at it, I cannot see how she's going to, like, how this is all going to come together. And then when it's done, I'm like,
people often think of balloons as being like birthday party and a little childish,
almost
but
tacky or cheesy.
Yeah, but they're becoming really high class and fun, and there's these artists that are creating them, and it's a true talent. So to be able to make them look classy and romantic and fit into a timeless event is a true testament to who's creating them and what they've become and the perception that clients and brides have.
And once again, creating that super custom event, because when you do things like that, not every balloon backdrop is the same. So it's like this super custom and original to your event. Because what I hear from couples a lot is that they don't want their wedding to be like their friend's wedding. They want it to be original.
No cookie cutter wedding.
But then they go on Pinterest and copy the
They
same
do. They all think they're original. But
this is why they need somebody like you to come up with some fresh designs.
I'm like, let me help
them,
you.
right?
Yes, I know the people to help get it in place to help make these awesome things happen. Exactly. No, I love that. So what else do we got? What else is hot in the trends right now?
I wanted to talk a little bit about flower walls because you guys brought that up a little bit, and that's something that has always sort of mystified me. I don't really just flowers. The idea of flowers.
Are those real? They can't be real.
The
right?
idea
That's
of
way too
flowers in
expensive.
Some
general,
are real, but most aren't. No.
Some aren't real, but the ones that are real, I mean, they got to be like $60,000 for a live flower wall.
That's
right?
crazy.
I mean,
They're expensive. Depends on the size and the type of flower. It's hard.
Yeah.
Brides always want a quote on floral, and that's one thing that I hate doing as a planner because flowers are live and they fluctuate in pricing just like the market. So, a peony is a more expensive flower than a carnation, and there's different calibers of roses, and there's all sorts of things too.
And then are they typically, I feel like that's one of those items that does come with sticker shock, probably typically.
Oh, 100%.
The flowers. So it's like, like you're saying, it's they want right away that
even
flower
Even
quote.
myself, I'm a planner and I know what they cost. And,
and
for my
you're still
own
like,
floral in
damn,
Florida, I'm like, I got
that's
the bill.
expensive.
And I'm like, man, I want that. And then, so like we put it all on the invoice and I was like, okay, well, we're going to put half of that on my pay now bill. And then all of a sudden I'm 25 days out from the wedding. I'm like, yeah, you can slide that over to the ad.
Yeah, what are we going to charge to a credit card and pay later? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's true in any case with any vendor, right?
Yeah.
Brides probably book a 6-hour DJ package, and then they're like, wait, I don't want my party to end at 10. We need to go till 11 or 12.
Right. And they don't think about that sometimes.
And they add on.
Yeah. And they add on.
They're like, oh, we don't need music during cocktail hour.
You're like,
what? Oh, you're going to stand there in silence after your ceremony?
No, my cousin's going to hook his phone up to the Bluetooth speaker.
Oh, God. Yes.
And put on his Spotify playlist.
No,
it's
terrible,
be awesome.
terrible. Can I make a confession right now?
Okay, is it confession time? Go ahead.
Time.
Confession.
So I got married 7 years ago. Shout out to my wife, Lindsay. Hi, babe. Love you.
Hi, Lindsay.
We had fake flowers at our wedding.
Nice.
So, right, it was definitely one of those things. It was like, what do we do? What do we do? And obviously, as an event professional, and I don't know if you find yourself doing similar things when planning your wedding coming up. And Kenny, I know you're married as well. I don't know if you did similar things, but I was trying to cut corners.
Well, sure.
Even as that's one of my biggest advice to people, like, hey, don't skimp on the DJ. Don't, like fake flowers are not the same as real. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I do want to correct you on this because I try.
Yeah.
For a client coming to me, I don't like to call them fake, right?
Okay,
so
they're faux?
Well, they're artificial or they're
artificial.
silk. Artificial or silk floral.
Yes.
So, and you want to know what? They can be beautiful. There are silk floral designers. I design silk floral.
I still have them today. They look great.
And you want to know what?
They look every bit as good as they did 7 years ago.
Yeah. Shout out to my mom. My mom actually put them together, and they're still alive today.
Props to your mom. No,
That's
but
hilarious.
I do think, you have to figure out what you want and what's important to you. And some people aren't big flower people, right?
Me.
So if they don't have
It's
an
me.
appreciation for floral,
Hey,
You still need something in your tables, and maybe you want a floral look, but maybe you don't want to spend on real. And don't get me wrong, artificial or silk floral can still cost as much as real. It depends what you're having designed.
Right,
See?
right. And that's
So
that's
don't
smart.
hate on your
Even
artificial floral there.
The only positive about that is 7 years later, they're still going to look
they're
just
still
as good.
kicking. Yeah.
You can remock your wedding.
Right.
We'll redo
3
it
years
for
we're
you
doing
and
the
Lindsay.
vow
Vow
renewal.
renewal.
Here we go. But you're right. I like how you're right though. It's not just like we aren't cheap at Bash Entertainment. We are an affordable option, right? So while there's overpriced companies and there's cheap companies, I don't like to say that we're cheap. We're affordable, right? So it's not like it's all in how you phrase it. The
Well,
same
and not
with
everybody would agree that we're
pricing
affordable.
is
It's
subjective.
perception.
Right?
It's perception, right?
Yeah.
But right, if you can still help the client achieve the wedding that they dreamt of without them feeling like they got fake flowers. They got silk flowers.
Right.
Yes, they got artificial flowers
And in
because
some
it's
cases,
not
they
important
got
to them.
silk flowers that were more expensive than the real
They
flowers.
may be more
Yeah.
expensive, but or still more affordable, and it saved money. So now they can do that balloon backdrop or the marquee letters. Hey, you don't want to dump all your budget into live flowers. You wanted to do artificial at a lower design, and then we can now
Or have zero
Yeah.
decoration whatsoever, but one really awesome flower wall. And
Yes.
that's it.
Oh my God, yeah, just
My whole budget is just the flower wall. That's it. That's all I'm
I
getting.
love it. I love it.
I brought that up specifically because we did a wedding at the DAC.
Yeah.
Huge wedding, obviously a big
Beautiful
affair.
venue.
DAC is obviously
Beautiful venue,
it's
yeah.
one of those elite,
High-end.
VIP, high-end venues, right?
Yes.
The flower wall was giant. It was a 20-foot flower. It was like 20 by 12 or something like that. It
Yeah.
was huge,
Right.
and they were real flowers.
Right. They were going to die in 12 hours or
I
24
was
hours.
so worried about the invoice that I sent to these clients.
For DJ services?
I'm
yeah.
like, oh man, this is really up there, guys. We're doing a lot of stuff. This
Yeah.
is going to be a really big one.
Little did
and then
you
we go
know
there
what
and
they had
and
going
the flower
on.
wall was like 5 times
Yes.
more cost.
Right.
Like, they're not concerned about what they're paying me.
No, right. Don't ever assume somebody else's budget, what they think is overpriced or underpriced.
It's all subjective, right?
Yes.
It's all subjective.
very
but
fascinating.
I could not imagine personally. I'm not a flower person. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine spending an exorbitant amount of money
That's how I was. Yeah.
on flowers that are going to die. Like,
Right.
if I'm going to keep that flower wall for 7 years
Yes.
and get to bust it out at my
How is
vow
that
renewal,
not better?
cool? That
Yeah.
feels like an investment.
Yes.
I don't know. Again, it's subjective.
Totally.
That's me. Somebody else's flower wall is what.
So Christina, you said you're getting your married at 25 days. You said.
Yeah.
25 days.
Oh my gosh! Tell us a little bit more about some of your decor and design for your
Yeah, what are
destination
you
wedding.
doing?
Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing.
So it's actually been kind of fun
Yeah.
because I realized why I decided to plan my wedding in Florida was so I didn't have to do it all here and
Right.
be responsible for it. I did my bridal shower and my engagement party, which I thought I threw really nice, like big
I saw the
events.
photos online. Looks
It was
super
cool.
fun.
The
I like
whole
the
Barbie box.
the
and
Barbie box.
balloon
Oh, that was
arches.
the bachelorette.
That
Oh, that was a
sweet.
We've
bachelorette
done it all.
party. That was so cool.
So
loved it.
it's been fun planning in Florida because I'm getting introduced to new vendors. I mean, every state's
right.
kind of different, has
Yeah.
their trends, the way they do things. Pricing's a little bit different. The industry is somewhat the same across the board, but there's little things. So it's
Totally.
been fun talking to people in my position in Florida.
Yeah.
Talking to florists and different vendors. One thing that I'm actually still undecided on is if I want to do a photo booth. So coming from the one that loves photos and has to have photos at everything, I'm kind of like,
I know a really amazing photo booth company in Florida.
you do?
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Magic Mirror Miami. Shout out.
Oh,
to
they're in
Magic-
Miami too?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm having trouble finding because I'm in
I'll
the
connect
Keys.
you. She does the 360 photo booths, and she does it at super high-end events. She's always posting of like
Ooh.
celebrities in her photo booths and stuff.
This is
so.
why networking is important.
Yeah.
It is. It's the best.
yes.
So, okay, I would love that because
Totally.
a lot of people, they won't travel to the Keys or
Right.
it's undue, like I'm a little last minute now. It's in 25
Right.
days.
Yeah.
And
Right. Not the easiest to potentially bring a 360 booth, to Florida in 25 days.
And I've also changed. I was planning on doing an outdoor reception, and I'm a little leery of the rain and the humidity,
Yeah.
so we moved it inside. But my venue has a gorgeous ballroom, So I'm super excited to move it inside.
What about, so are you having your ceremony there as well, or is that going to be?
Yep. So my whole theme going into this was supposed to be ballroom on the beach. I'm kind of like to be over the top in everything I
That's
do.
fun.
See?
So it was supposed to be the ballroom on the beach. So we're getting
Super cool.
the ceremonies outside, but we're moving the reception into the ballroom.
I love that. And that's so cool that you did that, because that's not really a theme that you could do a lot of here in Michigan. Ballroom on the
No?
beach, right?
You don't think so?
I mean, you could, but it might be like, what beach are we talking here?
Ballroom on the really probably wet beach.
Yes,
if
right.
you're in Michigan, it's probably going to be raining.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
Sorry for
Not, a beach in Florida has a different feeling than a beach here in Michigan, right? So that's totally cool. I feel like, in Michigan, it's a lot of rustic themes.
Well,
yeah.
which is another trend that we're seeing a lot of is themed weddings.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. What I see a lot of, and tell me, Christina, if you feel the same, is the boho theme.
That's
What does boho even stand for?
Bohemian.
Bohemian. There you go.
Bohemian.
So and I think they
So
just
it's like
want
hippie chic.
Well,
Kinda
there's
hippie chic.
There's
Yeah.
different boho. There's romantic boho.
Yes.
There's classic boho.
So she can break down the levels of boho
moody,
for you.
dark and moody
Yes,
boho.
there's the moody boho.
Yeah.
There's lots of boho. That's why
There's the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Picture
There's
is
the-
my best friend for design. I'm like, someone says boho, or they think they know what boho,
Yes.
or they're mixing modern, and I'm like, oh, that's industrial. I'm like, let me see a picture. Can you show me? Because there's these buzzwords that are
Yes.
flying around, and people have their own perception of it.
Right.
So
we all think we have an idea of what it means. Right?
yes, but you got to see someone's vision and help them pull it together. And the biggest thing that I try and tell my clients for a wedding venue is if you're putting a style into your venue, everyone has a budget.
Yeah.
So pick somewhere that resembles the look you're going for. Don't pick a barn and bring like modern romantic into
Right.
a vintagey looking outdoorsy barn. That just doesn't
Yes.
work. Go with more of your rustic boho wedding. If you're getting married in a ballroom, you can do the romantic elegance. I'm not saying you can't mix them. Just don't
You're
try
going to be
and-
up against some more
Yeah,
challenge.
don't
Right.
try and bring something somewhere that it's not. You're working harder. Like
Yes. Yeah.
so
Work smarter,
think about
not
your
harder.
vision before you book your space, because
A lot of
don't
people
get me
might.
wrong, vendors can bring a lot and do a lot for you
Yeah.
and transform, but that comes with money too.
Yes.
Well, you're paying for things twice at that point. So
Exactly. Why did you pick a rustic barn to then turn it into this romantic
Yeah.
elegance?
If
And
you got
there's-
jet black hair, it's going to be hard to make you a blonde.
right, you go through a lot of processing.
It's going to take a lot of work.
A lot
It's
of
going to be
time.
it's going to be an event. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so do you find that, with designing weddings and themes, some of the tools out there are things that people will use like Pinterest or, on Not Wedding, where you can create like your own wedding website. Do you love or hate those things? Do those help, or do they almost create these crazy, wild, diverse, unachievable goals in people's eyes?
So I think what you're asking is, does that help to set up a positive expectation, or do you think it makes it more difficult to manage expectations?
Yeah.
It totally depends, because I will have some clients come to me and they understand that what they're showing me comes with a monster price tag. And then I will have some clients come to me and they're showing me something that comes with a monster price tag, but they just, like you said, they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And until you tell them, they don't know that can't be a reality.
For their budget,
It's kind of...
Knowing you, that's got to be tough to watch the look on somebody's face
Yeah,
as you
it is
burst
hard.
their bubble
you
a
don't
little
want to
bit.
disappoint them,
Right.
But I'm also not going to set them up with something that they're not going to be happy with.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I'd rather tell them and say, hey, why don't we go this route? There's lots of ways to do things.
Right.
It's-
Why don't you go with silk flowers, and then maybe we can achieve some of those other things, or
Unless
whatever.
those silk flowers are very expensive. We've been over
If
this.
they're arranged in a specific way.
No, that's one of the things that I do love about working with you is you do have a very positive way of spinning things, even when there are challenges and difficulties at an event.
Oh, there's always something.
It is.
There's
It's
always a
it's
surprise.
It's never smooth. It's never easy. We talk about that a lot. It's never easy. But we as professionals in this business, that's part of what you do is you face those challenges in the moment and you overcome them and you make them work and you make it an amazing event for your client regardless.
My client
And
has hired me to be
Yeah.
their go-to advocate for the day. It's my
Right.
job to put myself
are.
in front of everything that gets thrown, and they're not supposed to know about it. They're supposed to have the time of their life.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I work it out with the vendors or whoever else is there to get
So
it done that
with
day.
that being said, with all the listeners tuning in right now, how if somebody wants to get a hold of you to plan their event, how do they find you online? What's your contact information for all of our listeners out there in listener land?
Well, I'd love it if you got a hold of me. So the best way to contact me is on my website, clinkandcodesigns.com. There's a contact tab on there, so that will ask you your event date, your personal information, enough that I need to get a hold of you, and it'll ask you a couple questions for details that'll let me know if it's available in my schedule, and I can get back to you with enough information until we can actually speak on the phone. And then if you're looking for events that we've done in the past or you want to see any inspiration, my Instagram is my most up-to-date stories, and recent reels and posts would be the best way to check that out.
And they look fantastic.
What
if you
is
go
your
to her Instagram? It's super awesome.
Yeah, what's your handle again on Instagram?
It's clinkandco_designs.
Awesome. Yeah, we find that too. It seems like more and more people just reach out directly on Instagram, and that's totally fine. To all the clients out there, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on TikTok.
Hit us up anywhere, man.
Hit us up anywhere, and
good.
We would love to talk about your wedding or event. Christina would love to talk to you and help take your wedding to the next level.
Absolutely. Christina, we can't thank you enough for taking some time to join us today and be our sponsor for this episode. We really appreciate your insight into the business. We definitely appreciate working with you. It's always a pleasure. So thank you so much for taking some of your time today to come and hang out with us.
It's a pleasure being on here with you guys.
We really appreciate it. Remember, you guys out there, don't just have a party.
Throw a bash.
Have a great day.
Whoop, whoop.